Look, it's Prev.
Hi there, sword nerds. Prev here. I've got another review for you today on a piece of kit I see lots of questions about online, and a pretty small number of videos. And at the request of some friends of mine on Discord, we are going to talk today about the CHFG Gabriels, the five-finger Darth Vader looking gloves. Let's talk about some of the uh, base stats of these gloves right out of the way, right out of the gate here. So I've got the extra large. People will have commented on this. I will normally wear a medium or a large, depending on the glove manufacturer. So um, this is definitely a situation where I would say buy a size up if you're not sure. It is more than likely that they're going to be slightly undersized for you. What goes, of course, with that is the weight of these. So these are pretty heavy relative to the gloves that I own. My other gloves that I wear frequently are a set of sparring glove hooves and a set of HF Armory Black Knights. So um, these weigh in at about 475-ish grams per glove. Um, which is not inconsiderable weight. I don't think that it necessarily makes me feel more sluggish or slow than I might otherwise, but it's definitely considerably heavier than either of those two options. Um, I've had these for about a year now, and you can see they're in pretty good condition. I'll show you on this glove. There is a little like glued in leather piece that covers where the inner glove attaches with a piece of Kevlar cord to the tip of the thumb. That has come off here, but other than that, I've not had any other breakages or issues with them. Um, So in terms of durability, for me, I am a once or twice a week, maybe a little bit more often user. So I would say I'm, on the low medium, probably uh, in terms of intensity of use for these. They come out every week for side sword, and sword and buckler, and for saber as well. Um, so that'll give you sort of an idea. That is something like uh, maybe only 2 hours of sparring a week. So if you're doing a lot more, if you're on that competition grind, these might wear out a little bit more quickly for you. But that gives you sort of a place from which to judge them. Um, Having had these for a year, they are now pretty comfortable, and I'm generally happy whenever I put them on. At the beginning, I found that I would get pretty significant hot spots on the inside of this index finger, on both gloves. Obviously, it mattered more on my right hand because I'm right-handed. I'm not sure if that is an issue with the placement of these elastic bands they use to secure things together, or what it is exactly. But at some point over the course of this last year, that either broken or I got used to it, and it no longer bothers me. So there's that. Um, in terms of compatibility, these, like I mentioned, are they're a little heavy, they're a little bulky. There are trade-offs there that I think are worth it, but you do want to be aware that these are going to not fit in almost any rapier. Any side sword with like a swept hilt, I would be really shocked unless it was specifically designed for large gloves in mind that these would fit there. Um, I use a Black Fencer Velox, which is pretty simple, just a knuckle bow, a finger ring, and a port above it. So if you have a rapier in that sort of hand protection, I'm sorry, not a rapier or a side sword in that sort of hand protection spectrum, I think these are likely to fit in there. The big limiting factor there is going to be the thickness of that index finger if you're trying to finger the guard or the ricasso there. So I for arming sword for sabers, unless like I couldn't fit these in a Siggy Pro, they just close around the hand too tightly. I find in my Castile Eco they fit fine, but I do wind up with quite a lot proud of the side of the bowl, and that means I probably am taking hits to the hand that are getting counted against me that are that might otherwise be counted um, as me parrying or no quality or something like that. So that's a consideration as well. So, in terms of protection, right, for any one handed sword, I'm extremely happy with them. I don't think there is any reason not to seriously consider these for side sworders or sabreurs. It's up to, you whether you and your weapon, whether or not these will actually work. But I can't see any reason to not recommend them. The question that comes up constantly is, but what about my longsword? So, what I will say is, I definitely have used these against longswords plenty of times, right? Uh, in sparring at my club, when doing demonstrations, I don't usually carry any other glove than this. Um, But that being said, you can definitely feel hits to the fingers quite a bit more. So it is not something that at this point at least I'm confident enough replacing my HF Armory Black Knights as my everyday competition longsword glove. I think for your home club where the intensity is moderate or low, you're probably going to be totally fine. I don't think you'll have any issues there. But with if you're going to go into a competition and you're not really confident in your ability to protect your hands, you really need to consider whether or not these will work for you. I think a mitten is just generally a much safer solution, um, and these, while they will work, do add a little bit of inherent risk there. Um, that said, if you're in a position where you might only be able to afford one glove and you want to use it for two or three weapons, say you're in a club that does longsword and it does saber or side sword, and you're attending both classes and you need a glove that will do both, I think this is a solid choice. I think so long as you go into it understanding there is some additional risk, should you compete with these in longsword, or should you go really high intensity with these in sparring and longsword? I think you'll be pretty well served and shouldn't be, in my opinion, extremely concerned about it. So I hope that that all that is useful. This always comes when I'm thinking about reviews. This always comes with the caveat, but how much money am I paying for these? So these are, as of last I checked on SoCal Swords website, $350. I did not check Purple Hearts, but I imagine their prices for things tend to be within $10 or $20 of each other. So I can't imagine that they would be much cheaper at Purple Heart or much more expensive if indeed they are more expensive. Um, so I think that they're expensive, yes, but if you are especially already a somewhat experienced fencer who wants a glove that will work in a variety of circumstances, I think $350 you get a good level of protection, you get a solid uh, uh, level of durability, and you can pretty comfortably take these into whatever you're going to do with them. If you're brand new, one, I would say stop doing two weapons. You should do one weapon and get kind of good at it first before you branch off. I know it's tempting to jump in and do a bunch of things, but I really wouldn't recommend that for your long term growth. So I think, they're a really solid choice. I struggle to find a reason, price included, durability, compatibility with weapons, the protection that they offer. I struggle not to recommend them. So I would say if you are interested and you have the money, then go ahead and do it. You're going to be pretty happy with them. And I mean, then you can also like force choke your enemies, and that's just rad. So um, I hope that's helpful. If you have questions, please put comments below. I'm happy to record more detail of these if you need me to. Hopefully you got a good look at them. um, if you guys have other things that you want me to talk about, I'm more than happy to talk about that as well. Just again, send me a comment, or if jump on Discord and shoot me a message, and I'll respond there promptly, usually. So thanks again. I've been Prev. Make friends and get in sword fights.